Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going on a bit of a quest. We're looking at the world, but not through the lens of nature. No, we're looking at the invisible lines drawn by human history. We're talking about the political map. It's this absolutely crucial framework that defines literally how our societies operate, dictating jurisdiction, law, and global governance. So, we're going to decode the exact cartographic tools used to understand this giant geopolitical puzzle. Let's get right into it. So, think about this for a second. How do you actually know where one country ends and another begins? Because national sovereignty and jurisdictions, they are completely invisible in the natural world. I mean, if you're flying 30,000 feet up in an airplane, you don't look down and see massive painted lines dividing nations or states on the ground below. No way. To visualize these administrative frameworks, we really have to rely on a very specific cartographic tool, one that's designed to show us the world exactly as human beings have organized and partitioned it. Section 1. Meet the political map. Places made by people. Okay, let's dive into this. The word political in cartography simply refers to the way land is administratively divided and governed by people. It completely strips away all the topographical or ecological stuff to show us a purely human footprint. It's kind of like how a neighborhood has fences or a house is divided into different rooms for different purposes, right? A political map acts as the global blueprint for those administrative divisions. It takes abstract legal agreements and translates them into a visual format that we can all easily understand. Section 2. Borders, capitals, and colors, decoding the map's secrets. These maps provide a very strict logical hierarchy of data. It's a lot like decoding a massive puzzle. First, they start at the macro level, mapping out the big international boundaries that separate sovereign countries. Then they zoom in to the micro level, outlining internal, state, or provincial borders, all the way down to local municipal districts, cities, and towns. And crucially, they also pinpoint administrative hubs like capital cities. By defining these very specific jurisdictions, the map makes the whole underlying framework of global and local governance super visible and structured. Now, when you look at these boundaries, you'll probably immediately notice the bright, high-contrast color palettes everywhere, which begs a pretty interesting cartographic question. Why are the countries painted so many different colors? Why do map makers use bright pinks and yellows instead of realistic, earthy greens and browns to represent the landmasses? Well, obviously the land isn't really bright pink. The colors are actually just a clever trick. They optimize visual hierarchy and administrative recognition. This brilliantly illustrates a core concept of cartographic design, which is managing cognitive load. Contrasting colors allow the human eye to just instantly process complex borders without getting confused. When you have dozens of smaller states all clustered together, assigning distinct colors to neighboring territories helps you immediately recognize exactly where one jurisdiction ends and the next one begins. It's a purely functional design choice, prioritizing clear, instant recognition over geographical realism. Section 3. Secrets of the cartographer. How the map is made. Now, what's really interesting here is how the experts who design these tools, the cartographers, actually follow rigorous methodologies to build them. Think of these steps like adding power-ups to our map. Step 1, they collect highly accurate surveying data to define current, legally recognized borders and capitals. Step 2, they calculate the mathematical scale and proportion so distances are spot on. Step 3, they apply that crucial color contrast theory we just talked about. And finally, step 4, they integrate precise map symbology. This means adding a legend, a compass rose pointing north, and standardized labels so the geopolitical data is super easy for anyone to decipher. Section 4. Key applications and limits. What can it do? Let's explore the superpowers or key applications of this cartography. Because political maps highlight boundaries and administrative hubs so clearly, they are absolutely indispensable for a ton of fields. I mean, aviation routes, international supply chains, journalists, they all rely heavily on this clear administrative data to operate. Government officials use them to organize voting districts. And of course, they're fundamental in schools for geopolitical education, helping us understand exactly which nations share borders and strategic interests, and instantly defining legal jurisdictions. But just like any great tool, it has its limits. The crucial point here is that a political map's primary strength, its intensely focused scope, is also its main limitation. It intentionally omits topographical data like mountains and elevation, ecological data like rivers and climate, and demographic density data. It is designed strictly for administrative clarity. So actually, if you're trying to find a towering mountain range or check soil composition, this specific tool isn't going to help you. You'd need a completely different type of map for that. Its sole superpower is clarifying human-made divisions, completely minus the visual clutter. Section 5. Real-life case studies. Practical application. All right, let's put these map reading skills to the test with a rapid-fire, real-life case study using India. Take a look at how the jurisdiction of Maharashtra is distinctly delineated from its neighbors. By utilizing those high-contrast borders and specific shading, cartographers ensure this particular administrative zone pops right at you. You can recognize it immediately from the surrounding states without having to painstakingly trace every single inch of the border manually. Pretty cool, right? Now, shifting our focus down to the state of Karnataka, observe how the map functions beyond just showing regional shapes. If you check out the legend symbology, it instantly draws your eye right to the administrative hub. You'll see a standardized dot or a star that cuts through all the visual information to quickly pinpoint Bengaluru as the seat of local government. Let's zoom out to the international scale and see how this all builds together. Expanding our view, we can analyze the hierarchy of line weights. Notice how the thicker, bolder lines denote international sovereignty? That instantly clarifies India's relationship with neighboring countries like Nepal, Bhutan, and Bangladesh. This visual distinction between internal state borders and international boundaries makes complex foreign relations incredibly clear at just a single glance. Finally, for our last quest, let's synthesize all these elements: the jurisdictional boundaries, the line weights, and the primary map symbology. When you put it all together, identifying New Delhi as the ultimate seat of federal governance becomes immediate. It demonstrates exactly how efficiently cartographers layer data to guide your understanding of an entire country's infrastructure. You've essentially just become a certified map explorer. Understanding this framework is absolutely crucial for navigating our modern world. Political maps are so much more than just pretty shapes and colors on a page. They are literally the essential blueprints of human civilization. They visualize the legal and administrative structures that dictate everything from local taxation to global diplomacy, taking all those abstract laws and turning them into actionable visual data. So I'll leave you with this final provocative thought. The next time you're reading global news, or following an international election, or honestly, even just crossing a local state line, ask yourself, how do these invisible lines shape the policies, the economies, and the lives of the people living within them? Grasping the power of the political map gives you a much clearer lens on how the world actually operates. Where will your very next real-life map adventure take you? Thanks for joining me on this explainer, and definitely keep exploring.